Not again. Hi friends, welcome. My name's Val, aka Auntie Cuckoo, and here I love all things home, especially home decor on a budget. Today we're doing the Mystery Box Challenge, which involves some crafting, and it was created by Courtney over at Creative on the Cheap. Courtney invites a group of crafty DIYers to get together and send each other a box. This time around, I got my box from Melanie, who is Simple Made Pretty here on YouTube and on Instagram. And I sent my box over Wendy over at White Sparrow Living. I adore these ladies. They're very talented. So be sure to visit the playlist in the description to watch all the videos. You can see who sent what and what they created. Now, this time around, I've got a box full of goodies from Melanie. This is an Anything Goes challenge, which means you can send things from your personal craft stash or anywhere you shop. You send 7 to 10 items. The goal is to use them all, but you don't have to. But you must use the 2 wrapped challenge items, and there's a twist this time around. The twist is that you have to use a button with either green or red yarn. So we'll see how that goes. Let's get into my box. I've got a cute little note here from Melanie on top with a little winky eye. So cute. Adventure is out there. Hi Val, happy mystery box. I can't wait to see what you create. With these items, you always make the cutest things. Love, Melanie. She is so sweet. All right, so we've got wrapped challenge item number 2. And first thing I'm seeing, nautical rope. Great, love it. She was nice. She sent me some felt to craft with. Fun little pie tin style metal bottle cap. That's what it is. Oh, saucy. Some fur. I've never seen this from Crafters Square. 9 by 12 inches. Melanie, it's like you were in my head. I have been eyeballing this. It just came apart, but I'll just pop it right back together. So it is one of the signs from the Dollar Tree that is 2-sided. Literally, I think you were in my head on this one. Okay, we've got some green glitter alphas and some Surebonder glitter glue sticks. Challenge item number 1 and a set of the black metal tags from Crafter Square. So let's open up our challenge items. All right, let's go with number 2. Not again. Okay, my first mystery box challenge, I received this item as a challenge item. And now I've got it again. Yay, winning! All right, it's a steering wheel cover in white. At least it's in white, but that is really funny. That was my first mystery box challenge, one of my challenge items, and now I got it again. So I've got to come up with something totally different. All right, challenge item number 1. Does that mean it's gonna be more difficult? The answer is yes. Huh. So yeah, we're going to be making some beds. Oh no, this is for ironing. Okay, ironing boards, sheet grippers. All right, interesting. Now I've got to think about all this because this is some craziness, and then we'll get started on some crafty goodness. I just realized my fan's been blowing because I got a little hot and sweaty. Oops. So first off, I am taking something that I was gifted last year. I love to recreate things and reuse them, especially when they're wood items like this. Now this was part of a gift basket, but you could use a regular box for this. You could pick up a container from the Dollar Tree. There are a million different ways to do this craft. I'm using the red felt, just tracing it out, gluing it in place along the edges of my wood box on the front. I had originally thought about painting it, but I definitely got some inspiration from the red felt that Melanie sent me. So I actually ended up putting 2 layers on just to give it a little bit more of a finished look. It's a little bit thin, and so depending on what you're using, you could always use paint to get a red container, but I'm using what I was sent in my mystery box. Now that I've got a red base, I'm going to go ahead and work with my challenge item, the return of my nightmare. And I'm going to just go ahead and cut it close to where the seam is. No real rhyme or reason other than to give me lots of space to work with that doesn't have a seam running down it. Now these are full of rubber bands, so you can just spread them out. And I think you can tell where we're going here. I'm just going to cut a little piece off here. I'm going to use some hot glue to tuck under both ends of this white strip that's going to help me create a nice little Santa suit on this container. Now once I have my white strip down the center glued, I am going to pull out something from my stash. Are you guys stash and scrap keepers? I always pull ribbons off of things and hang on to them. I'm so glad I did in this case because I feel like this was the perfect size black ribbon and it just came off of something else. So I'm reusing that, tucking in the edges on the side and making sure it is glued down along the puffy white center of Santa's suit. Now I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to start giving the shape of a belt. I used regular hot glue at first just to kind of set the base, and then I went ahead and used my gold glitter glue stick to create the buckle of Santa's suit. So this is what it turned out looking like. I think this is super cute and a great gift idea. Great way to have a dressed up looking container for any kind of gifts you may be putting together this season. Now it's time for our next DIY. For this one I'm using the bottle cap from Crafter's Square. So I just searched images of Santa and I went ahead and had it printed out at my Walmart photo center, brought it home, and now I'm just using my scissors to cut it down to size. And luckily I had just the right size bowl on hand, and that's how I cut out things that I need to be a certain round shape. Now I'm going to go ahead and take out some craft paper and give that a quick little trace and cut as well. Now I should have probably made the photo bigger. I believe I printed that one in a 5x7, and to fit in the center and really crop down the image would have been a better idea, maybe to have an 8x10 or to have really cropped down the image before printing. So just a heads up, and you could always do that with an image you have on hand, maybe a card you pick up at the Dollar Tree with a beautiful image on it, or you could even just print something out from your home printer. And then I used my hot glue to secure the paper as well as the Santa picture on the front. This turned out so cute. Now you could go in and age it with some brown paint in the corners if you wanted to. You could write a little message on the back, use it as an ornament or a gift tag on a gift you're giving this season. You guys will definitely see where I'm going with all this in just a minute. I do think he is super cute. What would you have done with this bottle cap top? Comment down below and let me know. Now it's time to move on to our next DIY, and for this one I'm going to be using the fur that Melanie sent me and the other challenge item that she sent me, these elastic secure tab things. Now I am using up the rest of this gold glitter glue stick on the fur. You could sew this if you wanted to. I actually was kind of hoping that the fur piece would be probably twice the size. I had thought of maybe making a nice bottle for Martinelli's or something that you could gift during the holiday time, and it was just about half the size that I needed. So I went ahead and just decided to glue it together. I'm using some more remnant ribbon to seam the edges. That really helped quite a bit. I highly recommend that. If you're going to glue it, the glue works fine. It holds together. It's a great little hack and way to make some hot glue really keep something together, especially if you're gluing fabric. Now, once I've got that done, I'm taking 2 of my elastic security, what are these called? I forget. I'm cutting off the edges that have all of the hardware on them, and I'm hot gluing them together on both sides. So I'm basically making a loop of elastic. Now again, you could use your sewing machine for this. I don't enjoy sewing elastic though, and I do have to say I was happy with how the hot glue did. Then I'm just going to put it around the top edge of the little pouch that we're making, and I'm going to glue it in place, gathering the fur as I go, just so that it does sort of look seamed somewhat and like it has some sort of ruching. And then once I have finished gluing it down this way, I'm going to go ahead and flip my bag right side out, and then I'm going to curl over the edge and then hot glue a little bit more to secure it in place. And then once I'm done and it's all done drying, I'm going to go ahead and flip it right side out again. And I have a cute little fur pouch for gifting. For this one, I'm going to add a little bit of frosting, some sprinkles, and some tips for some cookies. And I put them all in this little fur pouch with a little bit of ribbon, and I think that this is really pretty. I would be excited if I received this. Now, I'd be surprised if there was frosting and sprinkles in it, but I do think that presentation is everything, and I thought that this turned out beautiful. Now, if you've seen these fur rolls at your Dollar Tree, you could pick up 2, put them together, and fit something larger in it. What would you have done with this roll of fur from the Dollar Tree? Comment down below and let me know. Now it's time for our next DIY. For this one, I'm using the 2-sided sign that Melanie sent me, and I will say this was a good idea in theory. So I thought if I took out my nail polish remover that it would remove all of the paint and I would be left with a wood piece. I was sorely incorrect. What it did do was actually remove the raised part of the paint, so it did end up working out. I painted one side black and let it dry, and then I went ahead and painted the other side white. Also let that dry. Now for the white side, I had to give it a few coats for good coverage. Then I got on my Cricut, and I don't use it as often as I should, but I came up with a little sign and I printed out on some black vinyl, hot cocoa served daily, and I just went ahead and laid that down and removed my transfer tape, and all is good to go. Then I took the black side and I made up this one that says Cookies for Santa. I thought this would be a fun way to have a double use of the sign. You could use it for a cocoa or coffee bar station, and then you could always flip it over when you leave the cookies out on Christmas Eve. Once I had both of those decals laid down, I reattached the little standing base for our sign, and it is ready to either gift or use in your own home. I think it's so cute. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So one side is the white with the hot cocoa served daily, and the other flip side is Cookies for Santa. What kind of cookies do you leave for Santa? Now it's time for our next DIY, and for this one I'm using an elf from the Dollar Tree and a photo I had printed of myself. Of course, you could always print one out of whoever you wanted to personalize this gift for. Now I do have to apologize, the footage is a little blurry. I'm using an auxiliary camera. Of course, during the busiest time of the year, my camera fell, crashed, and the lenses broke. But needless to say, it's in rougher condition than this elf is about to be in. So say a little prayer, ask for forgiveness, and go ahead and start cutting. Now I decided to cut the center part of this little elf's face off. I know, it's just so wrong on so many levels. I actually made one of these last year and I did it differently, but I think that this worked out well. So go ahead and remove your hat, use your scissors, a seam ripper, whatever. There's just a whole lot of stuffing in there for now. Now when you're cutting your face off, I can't believe I said that out loud. Make sure you leave a little fabric on both sides and keep your ears on for the elf. That way you're going to have a place to glue down the photo. Now, if you have a laminator, you might want to laminate the photo. I don't, so I just use some packing tape to sort of faux laminate it and cut it out. That way it just is sort of protected. And then I used my hot glue gun to attach my photo on both sides of the face so that the ears were perfectly lined up. Now, once you've done that, you can go ahead and attach it along the chin line, but leave some room because we're going to be busy creating more of an outfit soon. Then I replaced some of the stuffing. Some of the elf's brains got put back into place. Oh my goodness. And now I'm going to take some more of the red felt and I'm going to create a cone shape for a little hat for our elf. Just using my hot glue gun. Again, you could sew it if you wanted to. You could carefully remove the first hat instead of cutting through it like I did and reuse it. But I am going to create a larger one with a little bit more detail and flair. Now I flipped it right side out and then I just secured the seam a little bit more. This way I was able to custom fit it so that I knew it was going to fit properly on our elf's head. And then I went ahead and trimmed it with my scissors along the bottom edge and just made sure that it was going to fit right and was secure. Now I'm going to use the rest of the elf's stuffing and restuff our hat. I do have a little white pom-pom I'm going to add right at the end, but I'm just making sure that it is all going to fit. And now for the twist, I am taking some yarn that I had on hand from the Dollar Tree. I'm just winding it around my hand 10, 12 times. And then I'm taking another piece of the yarn to tie one of the ends of the loop together. And then that way, once it is knotted, I can use my scissors, cut off the other end, and I have a piece of hair. And I repeated that. I actually made sort of 2 medium, 2 longer, and 2 shorter so that I could have bangs for my little elf. And then I just put the bangs along the front. I put the more medium to long on the sides, and then I put the longer on the back. This is fun. It definitely is not my color of hair, but it's what I had on hand, and it ended up looking a whole lot like Buddy the Elf, I think, when it was finished. Now, this part does not have to be perfect because once you have all of your yarn in place, you're going to then glue it onto your little elf's head, and then we're going to give it a fun little haircut. So for this, I did some glue right behind the front of the photo, and then I sort of pinched it into place, and then I went ahead and secured it along the back, along both sides. Now, for some of you, this may seem a little bit like a nightmare. I think this is a funny gift to give, or maybe a fun little gag for someone that you may know, and you could personalize it by using their photo or maybe someone in their family or even a pet's photo. I think it would be really fun. These are a lot of fun to give as part of an ornament exchange, and it'll surprise everybody, believe me. Okay, next I'm taking some of my steering wheel cover and I'm just cutting a strip, gluing it together so that it's nice and finished, and I'm using that as the edge or the trim of my little Santa's hat, and that is a great way to just make sure that your new face on your elf doesn't fall off. It really is a nice little way to secure things. Now, once we've got our hat all in order and ready to go, it's time for an outfit. So for this, I'm actually going to take more of the red felt, and I'm going to take a little bit of twine, and I'm just going to take a very long rectangle, and I'm going to glue over the edge of the felt so that I can create a little skirt and use the twine to bunch it up. And you could be done here and just have a whole lot of fun with this. I am all about the presentation, so I just had to make an apron. So I used some more of my steering wheel cover to create a little skirt for an apron with some twine, cut out another little piece for the bodice and glued that onto the apron, and then I went ahead and put it on Auntie Elf, and I tied it around her neck, and I hot glued it down, tied it in the back, cut out a collar from more of that red felt, and went ahead and gave her a little collar at the top of her blouse. I just felt like she needed a little rickrack trim around her apron. I glued her collar down. Things started to spiral out of control. I got out all kinds of little things from my craft stash. And then, of course, the finishing touch, a button to complete the twist. So I've used yarn and a button in the same DIY where I used one of my challenge items and the felt. And oh my goodness, you guys, I would love to know. I think she's fun. I was told by a few family members she's creepy. I love Auntie Elf. Do you love Auntie Elf? I mean, nothing else screams Christmas like a realistic photo on a Dollar Tree elf, and I think it's a good time. So now that we've created Auntie Elf, it's time for our last DIY. This one is super quick. I'm using the glitter alphas along with the tags that Melanie sent me, and I did pull out some craft paper. I'm just going to trace it. I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to pull out my Mod Podge, and I'm going to glue it down, and then I'm going to take all of my alphas. I am going to use a little bit of glue to make sure that these are nice and secure. Then I added my twine back on, and I have a super cute gift tag. You could spell out anything, but I wanted to coordinate everything in today's video. So now it's time to put this gift together. For this, I'm using my container that we created. I'm adding in all kinds of goodies for both hot cocoa and cookie making, our sign, as well as our little elf. And then I'm going to add in our Santa ornament. Below everything that you see, there are some socks and some frosting and all kinds of goodies for a special friend in our neighborhood. Now, I think this is a great way to personalize a gift for the holidays, especially if you're doing a secret Santa gift. I wrapped mine up using my rope, and then I added the Secret Santa tag as the finishing touch, and I'm so happy with how this turned out. I'm actually excited to gift this to our friends, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the process. What do you think? So that was a challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this round of the Mystery Box Challenge. Be sure to hit that playlist down below in the description so that you can follow along for all the fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you back very soon.